this lady I worked with in the past had a dream where she said that where she said she finally understood my work in the dream, Dimitri's work. She was very happy, and then she said it was the stairway to heaven, the 7 steps of the stairway to heaven. And so basically, what we find in very shortly delineating these steps is that we find the first step being too close. Too close means when we're into deep. Into deep means that when we are becoming a victim of our own thoughts, often implanted thoughts that we regurgitate and then we project, and then we become victims of these projections. The second step is to step back. The step, each of these steps is important because in each of them we can get stuck, as it were. And the second step, to step back, means that we have to realize that that we are too close, and that we are becoming, that we are believing again in our thoughts and our projections. And then we get reflection. Reflection is the opposite of to reflex. And what I've been calling the matrix is this world, this game where we are caught in a kind of a reflexology, meaning that we are caught in this game of reacting to often the very implanted thoughts that we project outside of us. And the essence of reflection means that the gaze comes back on ourselves, meaning that we start to realize that we are coloring in the world with these implanted thoughts, if you wish, also from childhood, of course. And we start to take what I call a self-responsibility, start to realize how we are co-creators of the outcomes in our lives. And we start to realize that in what we see in others and in the world is actually projections, our own thoughts, aspects of ourselves. When we do that, what happens is what I call touching the shadow. Also, what happens is that the opposites collide or merge in us, and then we go to what I call relax, meaning too close, step back, relax, step back, reflex, relax. When these opposites collide, when we reflect, and there's each of these steps, one could say is a day workshop, a whole day. One can spend practicing this. And then we get to the relax, which is the still point, which is the point, the middle way, the straight line, where there's no more ups and downs. And in that still point, we call what we call to hear the voice that makes no sound, which is the self, the higher self, which is the self that exists outside of the box or the matrix. And then, which is that still point, which is what we call also, there we start to enter the land of infinite possibilities, if you wish, which is in quantum physics. One would call it superposition, because then there are no more observations or unconscious observations, meaning no more projections, and then we stop collapsing the wave into a state of what we would call 3D or the matrix. So in that still point, we as it were, we upload ourselves into this field of infinite possibilities, which is what I always call the wave state. And this is then we really get into a whole new ball game, because then we get that we connect to what I call the self and the purpose of the self. And this is important because we do not, at this level, we do not create at random, as it were. This is the stage of manifesting and creating. Because in this field, in this superposition, then there is no more friction and there is no more limitations in terms of 3D. But then we download the self, the vision that belongs to the self, which is the purpose. And this purpose is connected to a tribe. It's connected to others that have reached to this level of stilling the mind and what I call becoming aware of our intentions and purifying that. Because this is the stage where we start to do everything out of love, out of wanting to give and to heal and connect. And the matrix, which is the stage of reflection, reflex, which is what I call reflexology, that's the stage, that's where we get caught in the game of money and buying and selling and outcomes and avoiding outcomes and or pursuing others. That's basically where we get into this being too close and attached. So in this other field where there is this love in terms of clarity of intention, awareness of our intentions, and the stillness of the mind, then we get to the superposition in which we find the self lives, which is this spiritual being. At this point, we are no more human in the human realm, actually, but in what we would call the spiritual realm, the quantum realm. And then we get the vision. We start to download that purpose, which is really, whenever we connect to that, we become so blissful. When we connect globally to a group of people that belong to our purpose, and then we get that. So that beyond, when we get too close, step back, reflect, relax, which is the still point. Then we get the self, and then we get the stage of what I call belief. Because the belief at this level and intention is what powers the creation of this, the downloading of this vision into our lives, which is manifesting. But this is not manifesting things, which is again being caught in that materialism of the 3D. And belief and faith is the power at this stage, which is the stage of the spiritual energy, if you wish, which is non-local. And that's the field that we project at this stage consciously. So we get then belief, and then we get what I call synchronicity, or the miracles, or the downloading of this vision, and the attracting of this tribe that belongs to our purpose. And these steps are the stairway to heaven, if you wish. These are archetypes that have been around for many, many thousands of years, but now we have simply reconstructed what it really means. And so then at that stage, we're like, as it were, in heaven on earth, in a piece of heaven on earth. And really feels that way. And so then we become back spiritual beings on earth. You see, the whole point of this being the caterpillar and becoming the butterfly is that we are supposed to become back spiritual beings on earth. Go beyond being human beings. And this stage of belief, and then the miracles, and it is these little miracles that will guide us to a spot, to a reunion around the world of these groups that have reached to this level, and then something very great is going to happen. So these are the steps, the stairway to heaven. It will take us up virtually to the, if you wish, to the gate of heaven. And This is so fundamental, so very important, and I just touch upon these steps quickly. Um, the ego is the false image, the false self image that we have created for ourselves in the matrix. And there is so much to say about that. We haven't covered so much about that too, which I will share in another moment. But let me just say that I think um, many of us are resonating to this process, and it makes me very, very happy that we have reached so far. And all of you know, all of you that have been resonating with this know what I'm talking about, and I want to thank you very, very much.